now known as Central Florida. But unlike you, they didn't arrive to palm trees and sunshine. Would you believe that back then, Florida was frozen in a prehistoric ice age? These ancient nomads learned to live among the glaciers, making them the first Florida snowbirds. When the mighty glaciers melted, they created thousands of inland lakes. These new water sources drew many of Florida's indigenous tribes, like the Timucua and the Tocobaga, farther south. Centuries later, the Seminoles would inherit these tribes' ancestral lands after relocating to Florida from farther north. In 1513, Spanish conquistadors arrived in Florida, chasing dreams of eternal youth and expanded empire. These explorers found a temperate climate ripe for growing citrus and planted the region's first orange trees. Word of La Florida's abundance soon spread, driving more European colonization. By the early 1800s, few settlers had tamed the marshy central Florida wilderness that was then part of Mosquito County. Besides a few lawless outposts and a Seminole tribe reservation, the area was largely unpopulated until 1845, when the U.S. Army established Fort Gatlin near modern-day downtown Orlando. Old legend tells us of a Fort Gatlin soldier who lost his life single-handedly saving the fort from an ambush. His name was Orlando Reeves. When his fellow soldiers buried him on the banks of Lake Eola, they carved his name on a tree to mark the grave. Some say this is where our city got its name. After the Seminole Wars ended, fortune seekers fled the crowded northern cities to make their marks in Central Florida's young citrus industry. By 1875, the region had grown so much that it was incorporated into a city. Orlando was born, and soon a new wave of dreamers was knocking at its door.
3, 2, 1, ignition. Lift off. Lift off.
The 20th century ushered in an industrial revolution, opening minds to new spheres of opportunity, including the stratosphere. After World War II, the country's fixation turned to rockets. Orlando found itself at the center of space fever when aerospace giant Martin Marietta, later Lockheed Martin, established a plant here in 1956. This was a prelude to the influx of rocketeers to Central Florida just 2 years later, as part of NASA's Project Mercury, headquartered 50 miles east on Cape Canaveral. As early as the 1880s, Central Florida had a toehold in the tourism industry with a few quaint lakefront hotels. But the opening of the Walt Disney World Resort in 1971 thrust this quiet citrus town into the role of global destination, and Orlando never looked back.
Allá está la ciudad de Orlando.
In 1973, bringing the ocean's wonders to Florida's
Sí.
heartland. And in 1990, Universal Studios added a little movie magic to Orlando with the opening of its first Florida IconPark. Orlando's landscape has been shaped by a community of dreamers that continues to push the heights of our city's experience. Oh, and speaking of heights, in a few moments, you'll be at the peak of your own Orlando experience. So get ready, it's time to own the sky.
A punto de llegar a lo más alto. Ese de ahí es la International Drive. Y la que está más atrás es la I4. Exactly.
Desde acá se ve Universal.
Sí. ¿Desde ahí? No.
¿Qué tal? No, ¿dónde está Universal?
Ah.
Universal no va tarde.
Congratulations! You're owning the sky like a true Orlando dreamer from 400 feet in the air. For good measure, That's taller than the Magic Kingdom's Cinderella Castle and Universal Studios Hogwarts Castle, stacked on top of each other. Check out that view. As we coast over one of the highest arcs in the Sunshine State, I'll introduce you to some of my favorite hometown spots. Looking directly north, you may see something that looks a little out of place in the Central Florida skyline. A smoking volcano! This Brimstone Peak is the centerpiece of Universal Orlando Resort's Volcano Bay Water theme park. Back in 1990, Universal made history by opening up its first theme park and movie studio outside Hollywood. Today, this 500-acre resort brings the true Tinseltown experience to Central Florida with its City Walk Entertainment District,
Y llegamos al
top-notch
punto más
resort
alto.
hotels, and both Universal Studios Florida and Island of Adventure parks. To the northeast, up the swerving spine of I-4, you can see the office buildings and high-rises of downtown Orlando.
Ahí está el Street Phone.
Downtown is the
De hecho, ahí
center
está
of a
subiendo.
thriving community of arts, technology, and healthcare innovation that also calls Central Florida home. Any basketball fans on board? Downtown Orlando's Amway Center is the official home court of the Orlando Magic. Back in 1992. Are you feeling on top of the world about now? You're rolling over one of the highest points in Central Florida. Hard to believe the pilot of this lighter-than-air flight is a multi-million-pound hunk of metal. Even though the wheel is metal lightweight, you might be feeling light
Igual se
inside.
mueve.
This wheel is moving at 1 mile per hour. Not exactly light speed, but since we are moving in a circle, the normal force that acts on our bodies on the ground isn't the same. As a result, your body might actually feel a little lighter. So, where does the power to rotate this giant come from? Almost 400 feet below you, just above where you boarded, 14 electric motors are working together to turn this 1,500-ton wheel. Well, each motor runs on only 6.6 kilowatts.
Ahí llegaron al tope y ellos, a diferencia de nosotros, ellos van a bajar en 3 segundos. Nosotros en 10 minutos. Vamos a ver la caída.
When you're pedaling down the street on your bicycle, the force you exert on the pedals travels through the gears and chains. The rear wheel multiplies and converts this force into kinetic energy. This energy helps turn the front wheel.
¿Verdad? Giran.
Instead of pedal power, the wheels motors turn several small tires. The wheel itself is a lot like the front wheel of the bike. They both have a central hub on each side, an outer rim, and several evenly spaced spokes. Spokes are the straight rods that connect the hubs and rim. They support the wheel by distributing the weight acting on it. While the wheel may work a lot like the wheels beneath your bicycle, I guarantee they aren't made from the same stuff. Bike wheels are usually made out of light aluminum, but this big boy is solid steel. Why? Just 1 square inch of steel can support about 40,000 pounds of force.
Todavía no lo soltan.
No, hay que si me van a torturar.
Ahí lo subieron un poco más y ahí lo soltaron. Disney debería estar para allá.
Eres como sombra y otro
What if thinking too? For instance, what if it storms? Florida may be the Sunshine State, but it's also one of the wettest places in the United States. We log an average annual rainfall of almost 54.
¿Se cayó?
No, la gatita.
No, ya te vi.
La gatita hizo lo que todos queríamos hacer.